Carl Jung perfectly mapped out the mechanics of my 53-year pattern with his timeless warning. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. For decades, I thought attracting those players into my life and landing at rock bottom was simply my bad fate. It wasn't. It was my unconscious shadow structurally orchestrating my reality until I finally opened my eyes to face the mirror. Until I was 53 years old, I subconsciously believed I was replaceable. Because of that unhealed wound, since my childhood, I repeatedly attracted players into my life. I attracted people like Justin Waller with his BFF, Andrew Tate, 2 decorated fire academy instructors, and even my childhood soulmate, JC. JC wanted to marry me in high school, but explicitly stated he would have other women, because he aligned with Mormon polygamous teachings. I rejected him. Those painful life events were not random. They were precisely designed by the universe to point out a wound in my soul. The subconscious belief that I am replaceable. No one is replaceable. But it took me 53 years, a toxic marriage, a near-death experience, failed relationships with my children, a suicide attempt, and healing my emotional wounds with several men to finally figure that out. I needed all of those intense life challenges before I was ready to face the truth. Now, I understand that my soul plans my life based on my wounds to create opportunities for expansion. I had a lot of wounds, which meant I had significant room to grow. My soul needed those challenges to expand my emotional range, widen my consciousness, and truly individuate, as Carl Jung would say. Through that integration, I am finally a healthy, mature adult at 56 years old. Carl Jung perfectly mapped out the mechanics of my 53-year pattern with his timeless warning. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. For decades, I thought attracting those players into my life and landing at rock bottom was simply my bad fate. It wasn't. It was my unconscious shadow structurally orchestrating my reality until I finally opened my eyes to face the mirror. And right as I write those words, the universe mirrors me again. The song The End by The Doors just came on in my room. Jim Morrison famously said that song wasn't just about a breakup. It was a goodbye to a kind of childhood. In Jungian psychology, that is exactly what true individuation demands. It requires the end of the fragile, unhealed childhood ego that believed it was replaceable so that the true divine soul can finally take the wheel. We have to let the old version of you die before you can build heaven on earth inside yourself. This brings us back to our core question. Where is heaven in a holographic universe? Heaven is not a geographic location you travel to after you die. Heaven is created right now in your heart and soul as an energetic frequency that attracts positive experiences into your life. Physically, earth is heaven. For me, hell on earth was simply the unhealed state of my relationships, especially my relationship with myself. When I learned to transform my own emotional wounds into personal wisdom, my physical and emotional pain faded and my relationships transformed. I still face daily challenges, but seeing how beautifully my children are doing today compared to 10 years ago makes my heart sing with absolute joy.